Today, boys and girls, we're going to talk about lesson number 1. Lesson number 1 is about fucking. And fucking, if you're to have a happy and successful life, for most people, fucking is a sine qua non, ex post facto.
Definition?
Res ipso facto. You gotta have it. And if you gotta have it, you should have it. And you should take a deep breath. Because fucking is about moving energy inside you and outside you with one and more rarely multiple people. But we won't go into the multiples because that's so rare, vanishingly rare in my own experience. In fact, I can count on one thumb the experiences I've had, and it wasn't pretty. I got to tell you, it wasn't pretty. But never mind, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how you prepare to practice your intention and intuition with respect to foreplay. Foreplay is to-ply and 6 degrees of separation on the 8-fold origami pathway toward foregasm. Foregasm is squared, exponentially more pleasurable than syngasm. Because in syngasm, all you have is synesthesia and kinesthesia and olfactorials and new factorials and perfection 2.0. If you think about it, if you think about what turns you on, take a deep breath and think about what turns you on for a moment. And let that energy take you into the vasoprescience of the oxytocin. Because that's what you want. You want your endopioids. Those are your endogenous opioids, your endorphins, and enkephalins. You want to take a deep breath. Push comes to shove, or thrust, as it were. And you want to think about penetrating and being penetrated, because those are the important things with respect to fucking.
What if you don't want to be penetrated?
Well, then don't. You have a choice. That's the first thing you need to know, is you have a choice. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But we're talking about how do you allow yourself to be turned on? And how do you do the chi circuit? You get your chi flowing by taking a deep breath down the front of you to the root chakra, otherwise known as your asshole. And then you take it down into the root chakra and you pull Mula Bandha. That's the root chakra lock, otherwise known as uptight anal retentivity. And then you let go up the back of your spine into your sushumna and into the arms and limbs, so that you bathe yourself in endorphic energy. And you reach what we call roar tor. That's revelatory orgasmic reality of tantric origin.
You just made that up.
No way I just made that up. I made that up a long time ago. I'm taking a deep breath. And all interviewers should do the same. Because I remember in the days of dangling Chad, you remember those days when we thought it could be another ox that got gored. And it could have been Y2K and my computer could have blown up. And back in the day when Muhammad Ali was called Cassius Clay and Amiri Baraka was called Leroy Jones and Bernie Madoff was called a Coke 1% master narrative Goldman Sacker. You got to take deep breaths and draw the energy down into the root chakra. Hold it there a moment and let it go up the back of your spine. And get the circuit going because you can increase your own energy so you're not such a slug. You're not such a torpid, turgid slug as some interviewers turn out to be. But never mind. It's all good. You circle around the stupa clockwise, practicing intuition. Intuition, that's a combination of intention and intuition.
That's great.
I just made that up. That one I just made up, even though it wasn't very good. It was a sort of Freudian slip. But there's a lot of Freudian things that orgasmic reality puts you in touch with. Especially the slipping and sliding of Freudian desires, shall we call them. Or Schadenfreude. Or Weltanschauung. Or Gestalt. All those Germanic people. Do you think Immanuel Kant fucked? That's really the question you should consider. What do you think turned him on? What do you think turned him on? If he met the mistress of pure reason, do you think that would have done it for him? Or if he heard Beethoven's Ninth, or Bach's cantatas, or Goldberg's variations, but he probably wasn't into Goldberg very much. Or Goldilocks gradients toward the charm quarks and the colored neutrinos in the double beta decayed multiverse. It's all getting strange. There's a strange cosmosis happening. And extinction 2112 is happening. And the question is, how do you fuck in the face of extinction 2112? That is heavy lifting, I must say. But I can say that okidoike, that's delicious. Okidoike was a movement in the 1940s by the young Jewish people who were put in ghettos. And they weren't dead yet, but they were going to be dead. But they decided how they could live alive in the time that they had remaining. And we don't have very much time remaining. I mean, with 2020 hypo hindsight, what I'm about to tell you will have been seen as a no-brainer. For the brain dead and the grateful dead. That's who I'm looking to meet at the 50th reunion of Woodstock, the Grateful Dead. And the epi-dead, they will have arisen. Like Paul said on the road to Damascus. He spoke to Jesus Christ in the spirit, not in the flesh. Paul was a schizo, a manophrenic, a manophrenic. And all his letters to Thessalonians and Ephesians, and Aphasians, and Capgracians. He wrote all them letters, but some of them were fake. Luke and Acts were written in Paul's name, but they were fake letters. Been proven. I listened to a whole tape about it from a whole book by a scholar called James Tabor, as to be distinguished from Bill Neighbors of Hee Haw, which was on TV when I was a child. I was very much affected by Hee Haw. It was really like the Smothers Brothers for me. And Ed Sullivan. Have you ever seen anybody as useless as Ed Sullivan? Shoe, that's the shoe. That's our shoe for today. The other shoe drops.
This segment's ending now.
Okay. Okay. Fucking 2.0. What turns you on? Close your eyes now, take a deep breath, and imagine the best sex you've ever had or would like to have. And just imagine the perfect response to your offer to be inside or out, or outside looking in, or inside out. Any one of those, whatever it is that turns you on, just imagine it now. Take the breath in, down the front to the root chakra, and pull Mula Bandha, and exhale. Feel the energy spread in your body. If you do that 36 times a day, you'll find the man or man-woman of your dreams. And maybe you'll have a Jekyll and Hyde experience. And you yourself will be able to let go of your Frankensteinism. And you'll find yourself Einsteinianly robust. Even in your Heisenbergian uncertainty. And without any Gödelian proofs of your axioms and your thermodynamics. You'll find yourself in a Queequeg moment where suddenly you realize enlightenment isn't so bad. It turns you on. It makes you feel enough. It gives you the sense of time immemorial. It's apocalyptic, cataclysmic. It's encaustic. It's panchronic and panspermic.
Pancreatic.
Pancreatic? That's the lamest contribution from the peanut gallery we've ever had. But we are so tolerant of the pleasure that if that gives you pleasure, making lame, leisurely, leveraged remarks, if that's what turns you on to the rapture, be my guest. Uh-oh. I'm taking a deep breath. I hear stirring in the halls, and I don't think it's mice. They're coming for us. They're coming to get us with the white coats and the labs and the Tuskegee experiments. It's time for white justice and white noise and white nose and hook-nosed, Hebrews hasbara, Torah hamelech, dayenu, dakor,
Dakao.
dakao, dakor, dakina faso. You wonder sometimes if you'll ever be inside what you'd like to be inside of. But it's possible. There's another consciousness out there who would welcome you to penetrate or be surrounded, or allow yourself to pass on your genes and be expressive or espresso if you're a little speeded up. If you've been to Starbucks and you've talked with the baristas and the bistros. Are the male baristas baristros?
Baristosas.
Baristozos. And they have anastomosis.
No, female one.
Anastasis.
Baristasi.
No, you're thinking of East Germany, the Stasi.
The baristas in East Germany.
The baristas in East, that's where Starbucks started, was in East Germany. The first Starbucks was on the Berlin Wall. And when the wall fell down, they had to come to America. And they got the Marietta boat people. They got on a boat. And they got the Marietta boat people, and they came to Florida. Well, actually, they came to Miami. They came to Miami when LeBron was playing for the Heat. And Beyonce was with Destiny's Child. And they lived in celebrity. Hollywood, maybe. You take a deep breath and you let it all settle in, because soon the 50th Woodstock reunion will follow my 50th college reunion. And I'm giving the valedictory speech. And it's going to be about fucking. In fact, it's going to be this very speech that we're now taping to be refined. Because it's going to be me in place of Kurt Vonnegut. I'll be channeling Kurt Vonnegut.
How could you give the valedictorian speech if you were not the valedictorian?
I am now. It's 50 years later. I got another chance.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. They chose me.
You've been chosen.
I am one of the chosen ones. I've always felt that way. And been treated accordingly by those who know me not at all.
Okay.
Take a deep breath. If you're getting confused, take a deep breath. Because what else can you do except chant Om, and slow down to half speed 36 times. And by that time you'll be able to stop time immemorial, and then you'll have all the time in the world, and you'll be all the way in, and inside out you'll see how it is. Inca, suchness. The Kundalini rises, and so does the sea, and so does the pH level. Actually, the pH level goes down. Oddly enough.
Sea levels are rising.
Oceans are acidifying. Glaciers are... We're going to have the mega meltdown in the mainstream mikvah. And we will ourselves be ethnically cleansed. Our auras and our chakras and our kundalini. It's all going to be transparently clear that we've gone clear with our climate Scientology.
I would pay $50 for you to
$50, pull it out.
To go into a Scientology center and ask for a reading. I would love that.
Oh, I'll do it. $50. Oh, that'd be good. Let's do that.
But then you got to go
fun.
back every day for the next week and and like
What? Only if I get $50 every
hang
day.
out there and drink coffee and don't leave.
Do they have coffee?
No, like I'll buy you coffee. You get to hang out there all day.
Oh, well, that's not worth $50.
What are you making now?
Oh, I'm making Social Security because I deserve it.
You made me laugh
The
today.
chosen one.
Nice to laugh.
I'm taking a deep breath. I'm thinking about getting into vendibles.
Well, then maybe
Virtually,
Yeah.
virtually, vestigible, virtual, virtuoso vendibles. You know the kind of thing I'm talking about. Kraft macaroni and cheese on toast.
Mm-hmm.
Welsh rarebit, smorgasbord, ratatouille. Did I serve ratatouille where you are? No ratatouille. I'd like to have a vendible machine. Maybe we could make a. That's it. That's how we'll make our fortune. You'll be the delivery man, and I'll make the machine, and we'll have ratatouille in it, and we'll have gefilte fish. You'll be able to get gefilte fish, and you can have tzimmus,
Macaroons.
macaroons,
Manischewitz.
manischewitz, matzah.
Bitter herbs.
We don't want to be too ethnic. We'll have ham and cheese.
Ham and cheese. But there's nothing like
Ham and cheese.
and Manischewitz.
Yes, and pork pie.
Jewish pork pie.
Jewish pork. We could have mock pork, mock chicken liver and pork. Ooh, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And we can have like grease. We can put lots of chicken fat in it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some chicken livers. And then we can get Humpty Dumpty. And when he falls off, we can use his yolk to make, because you need chopped liver, you need some eggs in it. So when Humpty Dumpty has a great fall, we'll use the yolk for his yoni. Because Humpty Dumpty had a sex change. You didn't know that, I bet.
No, I didn't.
There's a whole other apocrypha where all the fairy tales, you get the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I found out that Humpty Dumpty had a sex change.
I think you're getting your reading material out of the wrong
I'm
place.
taking a deep breath. I don't like to be contradicted. That's not something that usually happens to the chosen ones. Usually people bow at our lotus feet, smelly or not. And we sit in full lotus. Or maybe sometimes when we don't want to completely commit ourselves, we sit in half lotus.
How about quarter lotus?
Quarter lotus? Now I can only imagine what quarter lotus would look like.
Say goodbye, Herbie.
I'm taking a deep breath.
Say goodbye till next week.
Herbie for president. In our herbal administration, everybody will get a bankster bailout.